What's up, collectors? Welcome back to another video and another Criterion video, which we haven't done in a while, and I'm really excited to get back to because Criterion just had a flash sale. And I, of course, because I'm me, went overboard like I always do, even though I swore to myself that I wasn't going to do it this time because I was going to wait till the Barnes & Noble sale, but I didn't. And so I've got some stuff to show you, and I have none other than my good buddy, fellow Criterion fan who hasn't been on the channel in a while, and I'm so excited to talk to him again. It is Connor Nielsen. There he is. Look at him. Look at his beautiful face. Look at his beautiful beard. Oh man, welcome back, dude. I'm so excited to talk to you again. It's been too long.
It's good to be back. I love chatting. With you. I love chatting movies and Criterion. Yeah, the flash sale it's like a little holiday for me because it comes one Tuesday early on in the year. Usually February, sometimes on a March, like it was this year. And, it's like that gap between the November and July sales at Barnes & Noble, like it's lengthy. And so it's
Were you having withdrawals?
This nice little pit stop. I was. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm happy I can do a little pit stop, nab some stuff before the floodgates officially open.
Yes. I had the same thought. What I basically did, I love your Metropolis shirt, by the way. I'm wearing my Criterion Cult shirt. We're both wearing black. Look at this. We're coordinated. We didn't even plan this. But what I did at this flash sale, I got to thank you because you're the one who told me about the flash sale. I may have not even caught it. I'm sure I might have seen it in the Criterion Facebook group, but you told me early, and I was able to which was good because I needed a lot of time to mull it over because I waited till like that night at like 11 o'clock to finally commit to hitting the buy button because I'm so weird about spending money. But yeah, what I decided to do was just buy all of the things that I have been wanting, that I've been watching since November, that I'm like, I'm going to buy these eventually anyway. And I'd rather give the money straight to Criterion instead of, going through Barnes & Noble. Plus they have that like perks program where you get like a gift card once you spend $200 or something. So I'm getting points for that. And also they're really good about shipping stuff. And I didn't get any like box sets. Those are the things where I'm worried about in getting damaged in packaging. But I only got standard stuff. Although there was one surprise that I will get to in a minute. That's not the standard jewel case. But yeah, what was your motivation going into this flash sale? Just picking up some recent things or some stuff that's been on the list for a while? I know you've passed your list and you're just buying everything at this point. So
yeah, we've reached that stage of I don't even know what you call it. We're past bargaining is all. I don't know, whatever that thing is called.
Delirium.
So
that's what
it's called. So I had a bit of a game plan. I knew I wasn't going to get too much, and to be honest, I think all things considered, I got exactly the number I needed. I only got 3 things, but there were titles that were coming out that I knew I wanted to grab. I have not seen they were nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards of the years they came out. One of them is a 4K title that probably just gave it away.
For the big fans, yeah.
But there was one movie that a friend of mine actually showed me, and I wanted to get it. However, about 2 or 3 weeks before the sale, I was going to pop in one of my discs to watch it with my brother, and the file was just completely corrupted. I popped it in the player, and after about 4 or 5 tries, we finally got a menu over a black screen, and like it was weird. It was like every visual component of the disc was just completely shut off. And that was one I had gotten actually at, I'll go into more detail about that later, but I had to basically buy a replacement disc. So.
All right. Well, I mean, without any further ado, you can go ahead and show us your first pick if you want to. I'll let you start.
Oh, thank you. I guess just to continue my story, I just kind of started rambling there. That disc is Alfred Hitchcock's The Lady Vanishes. Let me get some lighting. Yeah. So this is a very early spine number. I believe it's spine number 3. Yeah. This is a very great movie, I think, anyways. One of his solid early films. This was actually the film that got him enough notoriety that he was courted by Hollywood after this. And then once he came to Hollywood, that's when he made stuff like Rebecca and Suspicion, Notorious, and the rest is history. But this was actually a movie I had initially purchased years and years ago because I watched this in one of those like 20 Alfred Hitchcock DVD packs that my mom had got me when I was a teenager, and it was like the first one in there, and immediately I was really into it. And so I saw that there was a Blu-ray that Criterion did, got my hands on it, and I never watched it. And then when I went to watch it, it was toast. I don't know if that's disc rot or what, but it was not. It had never been played, had no scratches. It was toast though. But because I had purchased it from Barnes and Noble, I can't get a refund for it like 9 years later. So I was kind of strategic about getting this from the flash sale because I know that if it's toast, then I can just get a replacement disc from the source. Luckily, I did test it out, and it works. So that's cool. The Lady Vanishes, 1938, Alfred Hitchcock.
That's awesome. Yeah, I still have yet to see that one. They put out that really cool thing on the channel that was Hitchcock for the holidays. That came out around Thanksgiving, and they had like all of his movies, like his early stuff. Like it was mostly early stuff. But I had too much stuff I was watching at that time. I couldn't make any more time. There's not enough hours in the day. But I will eventually get around to that because I've seen about 10 or 11 Hitchcock films now. Which that was always a big blind spot for me. So I'm glad that I've seen as much as I have. But yeah, I need to see more of that stuff. I'm going to show two films first, because this kind of goes along with something I'm doing for the channel. Or not, I'm just doing it for myself, but I might do a video about it eventually. But I picked up the last two of Guillermo del Toro's films in the collection. I already had Pan's Labyrinth, and now I have Kronos and The Devil's Backbone. So Connor knows this, and Connor may be in the video if we can work it out, because he's also interested in doing this. But I'm actually watching through all of Guillermo del Toro's filmography right now in preparation for his film that's coming out this year, the Pinocchio adaptation. I've seen 10 out of the 12 movies he's done. And I've also watched one of his short films. I'm going to watch the other short film, and then I need to watch Crimson Peak, which is one of the movies I haven't seen, and then Devil's Backbone is the other movie of his that I haven't seen. Not streaming anywhere, not even on the channel, so I had to get this. And then Kronos, I watched around Christmas time, because it takes place during Christmas and New Year's, and it was part of a Christmas collection on the Criterion channel, and absolutely loved it. I think this is one of my favorite films that he's done. So really glad to have that. Really glad to have this. Hopefully I like this one as much as the other two that are in the collection. I love this like set. I love that they kind of match. The spines match. The artwork on the same style. Artwork on the front is the same style. Obviously the backs match because that's pretty much standard for Criterion. Here's Kronos. If you've seen the movie, obviously that cover is really cool. It's the device with the blood coming out of it. Also, the gears on the inside of the device are the Criterion logo. Like, I don't know if you can see that, but that's really cool. And then you've got just an awesome booklet. This is a really thick booklet. I noticed when I picked it up that this one was like heavier than all the other discs I got in the sale. For some reason, this is like a really thick booklet. And the reason is because it has director's notes. It has, the standard kind of essays in the front, but then it has this director's notes section, which is like script pages, which is really cool because I love that movie and I would like to check that out. So that is Kronos, and then The Devil's Backbone, which I have not seen. Please don't spoil it for me in the chat, but it's got the kid's eye as the disc, and it's got some really cool artwork on the book too. So all around, I'm very happy to own all three of his movies in the collection, but it does cement the fact that I will never buy the Trilogia de Guillermo del Toro, that really nice box set that is out of print that they have, which has all three in it, which is really cool. But I'll never be able to get that. I won't get that because it goes for like $250 on eBay, and now I have all 3 films, so it's completely useless for me to buy that. But it is beautiful, and has a really cool storybook like quality to opening it and stuff. I love their package design. But I have the 3 films, and I don't think you've seen either of these, right?
I have not seen any of the 3 films that are in
Oh
the
man,
collection
what
from
are you
Del
doing? What are
Toro.
you doing?
Although I don't know.
Sleeping
I don't
on
know. It's a good
sleeping
question.
on Guillermo.
But pop quiz. Do you know who the artist who did all of those 3 movies in the
Oh, I have not.
collection
I
that he
don't.
has?
Is it a well-known artist that I would know?
It's it's Mike Mignola who created Hellboy.
Oh, I think I did know that. That
That's pretty cool, right? Because he
yeah.
made the 2 Hellboy movies.
Yeah, that's interesting. Wow, that's really cool. But yeah, they look beautiful. They look great on the shelf. My only qualm with them is that you've got Devil's Backbone is a black spine with blue writing, and you got Kronos the black spine with gold writing, but then Pan's Labyrinth is a black spine with green writing, but the boxes down here that they always do are green, so they look different. If you put them all next to each other, they look different. Um, which is kind of
Weird.
strange that Pan's Labyrinth is the one that's different. But these did come out all at different times, so maybe that's just why. Like, Kronos is 551, and then Devil's Backbone, which is awesome, is 666. It's really cool that they released it there. But yeah, so that's probably just why the discrepancy of the packaging, because they're not like right after each other in spine numbers. They came out later. But yeah, that's cool. I'm excited to check those out. Like I said, I only have 2 more films in Del Toro's filmography to get through, and then I think I'm gonna do a video maybe ranking those in the near future. Hopefully, Connor can be there with me on that video if he has the time to squeeze in more movies than he's already watching, which is a lot.
Yeah, I really hope to be there. I've in the last couple of years, I've realized that I really, really like Del Toro, and even when he makes movies that aren't, like what I'm necessarily into, or I don't think it's quite working for me the way his other films do, I always admire the effort, and I am in love with the way his movies look. Like, Blade 2, I would say is probably the weakest movie he's made that I've seen. I mean, it's better than the first one, and the way it looks is just killer. But I will be rewatching all of his movies, so who knows? There's a lot I haven't seen. Maybe it won't be my least favorite when we get to ranking them. If I'm there.
Yes, I'm interested to know what you think of Mimic. But yeah, that's the same thing. I recently just got really into him. I didn't know that his sensibilities were so close to mine until I started going back and I watched Pan's Labyrinth and I watched Kronos and I just watched Nightmare Alley and stuff like that. So, I mean, I always liked Hellboy 2. That was like the only movie I had seen from him for a long time. It was always like one of my favorite movies. But yeah, now that I'm checking out all of his stuff, it's really cool going through an entire director's filmography because you get to see, well, I say you get to see them grow. Cronus is his first film, and I think it's one of his best ones, so I think he was great from the get-go. But yeah, what's your number 2? We'll talk about that in another video. We're getting off track.
The next movie, hold on, let me see my spine numbers. Okay, I'm actually gonna jump to the most recent release. This is a Best Picture nominee from 1939. So scholars of the Welder channel must know DJ, he has to get this movie. And that is Leo McCarey's Love Affair, starring Irene Dunn and Charles Boyer. This was actually remade by the same director some 15-20 years later as An Affair to Remember, starring Cary Grant. But this was the 1939 original. And Leo McCarey has a very interesting career because, I mean, he directed the Marx Brothers movie Duck Soup, and he would go on to make this and several other, Make Way for Tomorrow, several other pretty important movies throughout the 30s and 40s. And Duck Soup is probably the most beloved of the Marx Brothers films. I don't know much about this. Wait, hold on. Did he direct The Awful Truth? It's escaping me. I don't know. Oh dear, good heavens. Wait, this isn't live. Okay, one second. I'm so sorry. He did. Okay, so Leo McCarey also directed The Awful Truth, which was also in the collection. It's from a couple of years earlier. This actually has Irene Dunn, who's in this movie, and Cary Grant, who would be in An Affair to Remember. So little pre-crossover
Wow.
action going on there. But I don't know anything about this movie. I've never seen An Affair to Remember. I've never seen this movie. But The Awful Truth is the only screwball comedy I like. And I think Irene Dunn is just one of those great screen presences. I think she's wonderful. So for that reason, I bought it. Well, I bought it because it was nominated for Best Picture, but I kind of jumped at the opportunity to get it um, because of Irene Dunn. She's wonderful. But the packaging here is pretty impressive. I really like the colors because it's black and white, just kind of looking at it on the face of it. But I don't know if the light's going to catch this. Um, it looks silver, but it's a sort of pinkish silver. There's a sort of pink hue to it. And you open it up, and that continues where you have the disc, and it's all black and white. But then the liquid in there, I don't know if it shows up, but it is, and that's pretty neat. And then when you open it up, similarly, it has more reflective. I think that's where you can really see it. I mean, I think I'm able to catch it in the light just right there. Um, but yeah, I know this is more of like the leaflet style that they do. But I think the design is pretty neat. And I like that they have the two characters there. I assume that's the meet cute. Oh well. And then on the inside, you have actually a pretty cool backsplash because a lot of the times, sometimes I don't know, there's like just a generic black or solid color for the back. Here they have like a little bit of a globe in that same kind of pinkish, silvery, um, reflective color. I don't know. I think this is a well designed package, and I look forward to watching this. Right now, my brother and I are watching through all of the Criterions we own, and so in about 5 years, when we finally get to spine number 1114, I'll let you know what I think. Anyways, that's my pick. Love Affair, 1939.
All right. Well, my next couple here, there's really nothing, no connective tissue for this little lot, but there is for the last set that I'm gonna do. But these three were just three films that I happened to watch, kind of unrelated to anything, since the November sale that I really wanted to own because I really enjoyed them, and for various reasons. This first one, I think everyone should own. Obviously, this is a very early spine number, and uh, people talk about it a lot as one of the the great Criterion releases. It is Black Narcissus. Um, I finally watched this because it takes place during Christmas. I watched it around Christmas time, and beautiful, beautiful film. I actually appreciate the cover so much more now that I've seen it, because that's like what this movie is, just shot beautifully. And you can kind of see it. I mean, if you know what you're looking for in the cover, you appreciate it more. But yeah, this movie's really good. I need another watch, but visually I loved it. But I need another watch just to kind of soak it in because I got more involved in the story as it went on. And I just have to own this movie because it stars Sabu, which I was totally not expecting. I didn't know that going into this, but I love Sabu, and I'm trying to I guess get as many of his movies as I can that are on Blu-ray. And he has a pretty big role in this. He's like plays like a young prince character, and he's charming as always. It's great. But yeah, the stars of this are the directors and the main actors. The main actress, who is a crime that she's not in more GIFs on the internet because her turn is magnificent and terrifying. And I was not expecting it in this movie. I didn't know this movie went to that place. But yeah, I'll open it up for you. I have already opened this one. Speaking of beautiful back, what Connor was just talking about. So look at that. So you got a beautiful disc that is like all kinds of textures going over it, and it's actually got a face in it. It's like the artwork, like Indian artwork. And then you've got another pretty thick book with that beautiful cover there. More beautiful imagery on the back. Look at that. That's really nice. So yeah, this one actually has more images than I think they're used to, but it makes sense because these films are just beautiful. There's that look. There it is. There it is. But yeah, it's so good. And then I'm going to take the disc out just so you can see. This is what I'm talking about. Like, look at that. Oh, it's magnificent. Have you watched this yet?
I have actually
Okay.
not. I've not seen any of the Powell Pressburger films yet. I own a few of them, but I have not seen any of them.
Okay, well, I highly recommend this one. I highly recommend Red Shoes also. I think just for my sensibilities, I enjoyed that one even more. But yeah, I had to have this one in the collection, and I'm glad that I picked it up. This one came, you know how sometimes you'll get where before it was shrink wrapped, this was like the disc art was like a little up higher, but then they still close it and it kind of gets little tears there. Have you ever had that? That drives me nuts. So I have that on this one. I'm not going to like send it back to Criterion and get a new artwork or anything, but that's just a little pet peeve of mine when that happens. But yeah, really cool. I'm happy with it. I'm worried that they're going to put out a 4K of this like right after I buy it, just like they did with Red Shoes. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But yeah, I'm very happy with this one, and I'm probably going to watch it again. That might become a Christmas staple. I don't know. There's only like one scene that's really at Christmas time, so it's not like a Christmas movie. But this next one is Zazie dans le Metro, which is a really great movie, and I think a great movie to show kids. I actually watched it because it was on the Criterion channel, and it was in the Saturday morning matinee section, which is like the family section that they have on there. And my son freaking loves this movie. I've already opened it because I've already watched it with him again. And there's a scene called this is really cool. They have the chapters on the inside of this one. The scene called Chase, which is, I don't know if you know anything about this movie. This movie is insane. It was like based on a novel that was considered like unfilmable, and it's like super, there's like no laws of physics in this movie. It's like a cartoon. Like there's a scene where she's running away from this guy and she's just teleporting, and there's just two of her sometimes, and she's just like she'll just like whip stuff out of her pockets that is impossible to have, like explosives and stuff. Like it's like a cartoon in live action, and my son absolutely like cracking up. Like he's only 3 years old, but this movie cracks him up. Like I love hearing him laugh when he watches this movie. I see this one every time I go to Barnes & Noble, and the reason I didn't look into it is because I'm not crazy about the artwork. It doesn't, at least the front. I really like the artwork on the inside, but the front doesn't make me want to check this out. It's kind of creepy, which it doesn't, I don't think it portrays. It's about this little girl, and she's staying with her uncle for the weekend. She really, really wants to ride the metro, but there's a strike, which is the underground train, and this takes place in France. It's a French movie. I didn't mention that. And she can't ride the metro all weekend, and she's just like a crazy girl, just like runs away and like does all this crazy stuff. There's like crazy extravagant scenes where they climb all the way to the top of the Eiffel Tower, and they're literally like at the top, and he just like jumps off with the balloon and he's fine. Like this world is weird. And it's really funny, and I think there is some language, but it's in French, so kids aren't going to hear that language. So I really think you can show this to kids. I think you may have to skip around a little bit, because there are some scenes that get really talky, and it might not hold their attention if they're smaller kids. But I think it's great, and the scenes that land with kids really land because my son thinks it's hilarious. But yeah, I love the artwork on the inside, like those profiles with the C and then that blue color on the inside. I love the profiles on the book, and I love the soft blue color on the cover. It's just that picture of Zazie that didn't immediately make me. I like it now that I've seen the film. But yeah, there's that scene where she's running away. Really, really fun movie. And if you just want to watch some bonkers, like bizarre, like there's a food fight at a point in this movie where people are just getting annihilated. Like it's the most violent food fight I've ever seen in my life. But it's not like there's no blood or anything. It's just like cartoon violence. It's crazy. Zazie dans Metro, awesome. Also, amazing score. I listened to the score ever since I watched this last year. I've been listening to the score frequently. It's like a beautiful like just guitar like string score. It's really good. All right, and then I promise this is my last one I'm going to show before I switch back to you, Connor. This is a Wes Anderson movie that I've recently watched and may become my favorite Wes Anderson movie. I freaking love this. This is Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. I had never seen this one. I have not seen a lot of the only Wes Anderson movies I've seen are Grand Budapest Hotel, Moonrise Kingdom, Royal Tenenbaums, and I just watched French Dispatch. So I'm going back and watching some of the older ones. I've also seen Fantastic Mr. Fox one time, but I'm going back and watching some of the older ones, and this one is so great. And one of the main reasons it's so great is because it ties into another Criterion release, which we've talked about on this channel extensively because it was in the box set video, and me and Connor did a Criterion Corner on it, and that is Carol Zeman is clearly an influence on Wes Anderson, which we've already talked about in that in the Journey to the Beginning of Time video, but it's very apparent in this movie because he uses stop motion like underwater creatures that look exactly in the same style as Carol Zeman's work, especially in his works that are based on Jules Verne stuff. But yeah, not only was this visually delightful in the usual Wes Anderson ways, but it also added that Carol Zeman touch, which made me love it even more. And then it's about a struggling artist who's worried about never making content that he's going to be never making anything good anymore. He thinks he's past his prime. He's also dealing with being a father, and he's had a lifelong fear of being a father. He never wanted to. Now he discovers he has this kid that he didn't know about with Owen Wilson, and it's hilarious. The score is also wonderful. I love the score on this one too. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie, and I wanted to watch it again, so I bought it, and I love the artwork on this. All the artwork on the Wes Anderson. I haven't opened it yet, so I can't show you the inside. Sorry about that, but I love this movie, and it might surpass Moonrise Kingdom. I don't know. Moonrise Kingdom was my favorite, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see on repeat viewings which one takes the lead. But yeah, I'm really happy with that one, so I had to get it.
So Life Aquatic is actually one of those movies where it came out in what, 04?
Yeah, 2004.
Okay. Yeah, I remember I remember being conscious, and it was probably around the time it had come out. I just assumed it was an older movie because there was this sort of instantly iconic sort of iconography from it. Bill Murray with the orange beanie hat and the little underwater scuba diving thing or submarine that they go in. All of that stuff, I feel like from an early age I was already aware of, and people had seemed to talk about it like it was a classic already. And over the years I've heard that one is considered divisive. Some people think of it as smug, some people think of it as Wes Anderson doing self-parody or whatever. So I've always been a little apprehensive to go back, or not go back to it, just watch it at all, because a part of me wants to watch this thing that was really popular when I was like 9 when that came out, and another part of me, is worried that, oh no, there will be a Wes Anderson movie I don't like. But hearing you talk so highly about it and talking about the Carol Zeman influence, well, now I know what I'm picking up in July. So also I have to say, Sabu! We have to have a requisite one of that whenever we bring up that guy. So cool. Thanks.
Yeah, man, I think you got to check it out. It's about a filmmaker. I mean, as a filmmaker yourself, I think you'll find it interesting. But yeah, I'm happy with those three, and yeah, those two broke I had like a really cool like black and white vibe going with all my picks, but these two like very colorful, which they broke that streak. But I'm happy that I picked them up, and I will be. Those are two that I'll watch a lot because I'll watch this one a lot, and then my son will want to pop that one in all the time. As soon as I brought it home, like I got my. Criterion ships out their stuff so quick, by the way. I got it like within 2 days. And I said, guess what I got today, Judah? And I took him upstairs and I showed him the stack, and I was like, you want to watch it? He was like, yeah. And we ran downstairs and watched it immediately.
That is adorable. All right. My last pick is the 4K pick. This is a Best Picture nominee from 1993. So that means it lost to Schindler's List. It is Jane Campion's The Piano. Um, Jane Campion is, of course, kind of back in the spotlight right now with The Power of the Dog on Netflix. And like 1993, Spielberg and Campion once again nominated for Best Director. It's a rematch, although this time it looks like Campion is likely to win this time. This is the last time she was up for a lot of awards. This is, I believe it stars Holly Hunter. Harvey Keitel and Sam Neill are also in it. Love both of those guys. But famously, Anna Paquin is little itty bitty Anna Paquin, tiny, like 7 years before X-Men. She was nominated and won Best Supporting Actress for this movie, and I believe she still holds the record for youngest to win the award. I think for the longest time she was the youngest to ever be nominated, but I believe, I don't know if Little Miss Sunshine kind of broke that record or something else that I'm not thinking of. Can't remember which. But she did win it. And I remember for the 1994 Best Supporting Actor um, award, there was this video going around where I'm trying to remember who won Best Supporting Actor that year, but the point is Sam Jackson was nominated, and you can clearly see that he thought he was going to win, because like in the little reaction clip when they announced the winner, you see Sam Jackson mouth something that he probably wouldn't have mouthed if he didn't think he was gonna win. But little Anna Paquin came out to announce the winner that year, and she's just adorable. She's just this little Australian chick, little baby. It was adorable. So um I don't know anything about this. It's 2 hours. I've seen The Power of the Dog. I assume, like that movie, it's going to be a mood piece. I see a lot of sad Holly Hunter pictures attached to this. I see a lot of, lustful Harvey Keitel. So I'm assuming there's like human desire and, woman with child and obligations and stuff like that, which seems pretty similar to Power of the Dog. But I'm not saying Jane Campion makes the same movie over and over again. Just saying, similar fixations, right? But I really like the artwork on this. Both the 4K and the Blu-ray actually have the exact same disc art, which is, it looks like sad Holly Hunter concealing little Anna Paquin. But the backsplash has a titular piano on a beach. So, yeah, I don't know really anything about this. I will probably check this out sometime soon. I'm going to give The Power of the Dog another watch pretty soon as the Oscars, heat up, just making sure I have a good grasp on all of those that are nominated. But this has a booklet, not a booklet, but, kind of like a pamphlet style thing that Love Affair did, except this one, oh, that was almost bad. This one is accordion style. So you get sad Holly Hunter. I imagine that's a little lustful Harvey Keitel. And you get a essay and more Harvey Keitel. So yeah. Oh well. Those are my picks. Those are my three. Those are Love Affair, The Piano, and The Lady Vanishes.
Great picks, man. I am interested in all three of those. I need to get Love Affair because I'm trying to collect 1939 apparently, and I was interested in The Piano when it came out because that was a recent one, and just based on like the artwork on the front alone and just like the visuals that I saw in the screen caps and stuff, it looked beautiful. And then of course I want to check out Lady Vanishes at some point. All right, my last little batch here is related to something that I've talked about ad nauseum on this channel, and people are probably sick of me talking about, but the fairy tale is called Happily Ever After, the theme on the Criterion channel. That is like their collection of like adult fairy tale movies on there. It's actually one of the bigger ones. It's got 8 movies in it, and I own 4. Beauty and the Beast is on there. And I'm of course not going to be able to remember any of the other ones right now, but I had 4 of the films. Black Moon is one of them up there in the white. And then Bergman, The Magic Flute. Oh, and then Donkey Skin, obviously, in the Jacques Demy set. So those are the 4 that I already owned. And then I finished the entire playlist on Criterion Channel. So I just said, I'm just going to go ahead and buy the rest of them. Fairy tale's a really, I call it a genre. It's more like a theme. I think they're right. I think it is a theme. It's kind of like a style, which is one of the reasons I like Guillermo del Toro so much. The way he tells stories and stuff is very much in that fairy tale style. And so I went ahead and picked up the other four just so I could have this complete set. And I'll go through them in well, I'll just go through them in whatever order I want because I can do that. The first one is the earliest one. It is from 1942. It is called I Married a Witch, which is it's kind of a black and white. This is a Hollywood film. It's not a foreign film, and it's by, even though it's by René Clair, but yeah, it's an American Hollywood film. It's kind of the classic like 30s and 40s. I don't think you would like this movie at all, Connor. It is kind of like that screwball comedy type thing where the girl is kind of just ruining this guy's life. But she's a witch in this one. And it's really cool. It starts, like the movie starts in like the 1800s, and she's getting burned at the stake with her father because she's being suspected of a witch. And they go into this, their souls go into this tree, and then like she puts a curse on this family, so all of his descendants will never find love. And then eventually something happens to the tree. I think it's struck by lightning or something way in the 1942. And they're able to get out of the tree. And there's a lot of cool effects in this, by the way. Like they're like smoke for the longest time. And there's some really cool stuff that they do with smoke, like in these bottles, and like fills the bottle. There's like reverse footage, and it fills the bottles, and then they come out and they like can travel around. And there's a lot of cool stuff with this kind of this era special effects that I wasn't expecting. I thought it was just going to be like kind of a rom-com type situation, but a lot of cool special effects, and it's charming. I liked it. There's a flying car in this movie, a pretty early flying car, which looks great. But it is kind of that humor that I know you don't like, Connor, which she's just kind of ruining his life. And he's like a politician, and he's trying to run for mayor, and then all this stuff's coming out. I think it's a little bit more believable, where, I mean, it actually looks really bad because he's about to get married, but this girl keeps showing up, and like when she first shows up, she doesn't have any clothes because she was just smoke, and she didn't have a body. So yeah, it's fun. It's a fun romp. This is actually one of the cheaper ones. I don't know why. This is one that's like it's only 30. So on the sale, it was only like 15. I think it actually might have been a little bit more than that. Maybe it wasn't half off. I don't know, but it was pretty cheap. So I picked it up. This was like the one that I like the least out of their Happily Ever After section. But for that price, I think it's definitely worth owning. I think I'll want to watch it someday. And I love the cover. I love the artwork on the front, and I love the blue color that goes all the way around. So that's I Married a Witch. Very, very I Dream of Jeannie-ish, except 20 years earlier in the 40s.
Before we move on, who plays who are the leads of that?
Ooh, does it say quickly where I can get to it? Maybe. Oh yeah, Frederick March is the guy running for governor, and then oh no, he's about to marry Susan Hayward. It doesn't say who plays the witch. I don't think. It's not in parentheses anyway.
I'm sorry. I wish I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
I think Veronica Lake.
Oh yeah, I just watched her in because you showed the back of that, and I'm like, that looks kind of like the lady from Sullivan's Travels, and that is who that is.
Yeah. Well,
I think she is great, so I might check it out just for her.
You might like her. She is very charming. I think she wins you over. I think she might do things that you don't. But I think she does it in a way that I think that's what it's all about, right? Like that's what the whole point of that character is. Like they need to be charming enough that you don't mind that they're ruining this person's life.
I mean, I talk about how much I don't like, person ruins other person's life movies all the time. My favorite comedy is What About Bob, which is that. So you can do it in a way that I like. I just very rarely see it done, but I might give that a watch.
Yeah, I think you will. And I think the fantasy element is kind of cool. All right. The next one, not in chronological order, because I'm going to save that one. The next one is from 1970. It is another French film, I think, by Jérôme Girez. I think it's French. It's Valerie and the Weak Valerie and Her Week of Wonders. Have you seen this? Do you know anything about this?
I have not seen it. I don't know anything about it except you watched it and texted me and said you need to watch this movie, Connor. So that's it. That's all I know.
I don't know if I've this could go. I have no idea if you'll like this movie. I think this movie is beautifully beautiful visually. I think it's one of the most beautifully shot films I've ever seen, but it's so creepy and disturbing and very, very surreal. It's very 70s. I'm gonna cough. Excuse me. It is very 70s. And it's it's like it's like a movie that feels like a dream, you know, where it just kind of jumps all over the place. Literally, things happen that the next scene didn't happen. Like it's
everything you're saying is winning me over on this, DJ.
Oh,
I like what I'm hearing.
It's so good. I mean, look at that shot. That's where the scene opens. That's where the movie opens. That's Valerie, and this movie is just beautiful. I'll pull this out. Look at that. So it's really dark though. So don't be expecting like just a fun family romp. This here is the priest who tries to assault her. So I mean, that's one horrible thing that happens to her. But what I liked about this movie was the fairy tale qualities to it, where she just like maintains her innocence through this whole movie. And childhood innocence is like such a big theme for me. Like that I mean, I talk about all the time how I'm trying to be very careful about the movies that I show my son, and like I want him to be well-rounded, and I want to branch out, and I want him to just watch stupid kids movies like I watched when I was a kid. But I also, I want to keep him to being a kid. I don't want to let him just watch like whatever. I want him to enjoy being a kid. And the fact that she just like she just maintains her innocence through all of this horrible things happening to her, like that priest attacks her, like there's other creepy like deformed monster guys. There's a lot of religion stuff there. She gets burned at the stake at one point. It's crazy. It's an insane movie, and I actually really want to watch it again. I want to watch this with somebody because it is fascinating to me. It is a 70s movie. It is kind of violent. Not violent. Violence is not really that bad because it's the 70s, but there is nudity, obviously, because it's the 70s. So, just be prepared. I think I love the use of red. I can't really see it, but it's not just a black spine. There is kind of like a texture back there. This is a really iconic scene from the movie that happens actually very early on, like the first 5 minutes. But I don't even want to give plot. I couldn't, if I tried, like, give you a consistent plot for the movie, but I highly recommend it. It's very similar to Black Moon, which is also on the list. I haven't talked about because I watched it after I did the November video about it. So I didn't know anything about it when I did that video, but Black Moon is also very similar. It's about a female protagonist, a young girl who is going through like an Alice in Wonderland type situation, and there's unicorn, and there's all this, there's like a literal war going on between men and women, and like everyone's wearing gas masks, and there's like that movie is insane too. I think they're both really good companion pieces, and they both came out in the 70s, I think. But yeah, that's Valerie and Her Week of Wonders. Highly recommend it. The score also, that's another score that I have gone back to over and over as I'm working throughout the day or just like doing chores or something. That's a beautiful score, and I think the score elevates this film a ton. And there's actually a really cool featurette on here. I haven't been talking about features at all. I should have, because I've watched some of these, but there's a featurette on here where it's called the Valerie Project. This is a Czech film. Excuse me. Sorry about that. But yeah, there's like a psych folk band in 2007 did an entire score and they did a showing of the film, and they kind of went on tour and they showed the film, and they would play the live psychedelic like music, and it's a completely different score obviously, but trying to do a completely different thing. But that's really cool, and they have interviews with the guys who made the music, and then you can actually watch the film with that score, which is really cool. And then I didn't talk about this. This opens pamphlet style, like he was talking about, like this way. But it's also I'm never going to be able to show this on camera, but it is not glossy. It's like some kind of textured newsprint paper, which is really nice. But that, yeah, it's not going to pick up on camera. Maybe you can hear the sound. It's like a texture to it. But Valerie Week of Wonders is, I still don't even know my thoughts on it. I need to watch it again. Next one in the Happily Ever After list is Wings of Desire. What another great movie. Like, this is such a stacked playlist. Wings of Desire is awesome. It is an 80s movie, despite it being in black and white. That was just the director's choice, and he does use color in the film for creative purposes. And but I watched this very recently. This was the last one I watched because this is the 80s, and they were going in chronological order. I really enjoy this film. It's about angels and kind of this a different take on angels, like that you don't really think about, but like how sad it would be to just be walking around like melancholy watching people, and you can only interfere like sometimes, and they don't have like full power in this. They're not like omnipotent. God doesn't give them like his full power, so they can I'll just give away this one little thing. There's a scene where a guy's trying to commit suicide. He's like sitting on the edge, and the angel, all he can do is like persuade him, and like he's like, they can like feel angels a little bit, but he can't just like grab him and pull him off the ledge. And I won't tell you what happens either way, but it's really cool. It's a really cool way to look at angels. They wear like these black trench coats. They don't actually have wings. That's just in the cover. This is a German film. It's kind of a beautiful like love letter to Germany. I haven't really seen a lot of German films, and looking at Germany like this, because I've never been to Germany, was a really beautiful experience. And there's some ties to the war and the Berlin Wall and stuff in here. That's really tragic and beautiful. But also there is one American actor in this. They put one American actor in this, and it's Peter Falk. Is that his name? I think that's how Peter Falk, who you may know from Princess Bride. I mean, that's a terrible reference. He's in other things when he was younger, but that's like if I was going to say a mainstream answer, that you probably know from that. But yeah, he's in this, and he plays himself. He plays an actor. He plays Peter Falk, and he's doing a movie over in Germany. And you get to see like the filmmaking happen. And there's a hilarious scene where he's like trying to find the right hat for the role, and he makes the woman like give him like 50 hats, and it's really, really funny. He's hilarious in this, and he comes back later because his role becomes bigger in the film. I'll just say that. But I'm trying to be cryptic because I think this is a movie you just have to experience. Highly recommend it. This has another beautiful backdrop. Oh, I mean, I was in from the start because look at that. She is I guess I can say this. It's kind of about an angel kind of falling for a human, just for her humanity and stuff. And the woman is right there, and she is a trapeze artist. She's an acrobat in a circus. I love circus stuff. I mean, put a circus in a movie, and I'll buy it because I don't know. Circus and insane asylums are like my two big, I don't know, just locations that I just love movies being set in. You can see the city of Germany right there from an aerial view in the disc, which is beautiful. And then you've got this beautiful, that's a fantastic scene in the movie. Photo for the backdrop. And then this is just beautiful. I love that they kept the black and white theme going all the way through. But this is a pretty thick one too. So Wings of Desire, I highly recommend. And it might be one of my favorite posters of all time. I was telling this to Connor, like, it has such a cool poster. Just go to Letterboxd and look at it. It's got like, this is the statue that he sits on when he's up there pondering his life as an angel, and then it's got the trapeze, like her on the trapeze hanging off of it, and it's up in the clouds, and it's all like minimalistic and gold and white. It's such a cool poster. Check it out. All right, I'm rambling. I'm gonna get to my last pick, unless you have anything to say about Wings of Desire, Connor.
No, except that's the I've heard of it for many years now, and I've always wanted to check it out. I was surprised when you told me it was actually made in the 80s because I've only seen images, and I just assumed it was made much earlier than that.
Yeah, and I didn't even mention, because I'm not going to be able to pull his name out of my head because I've got so much names in my head right now. but the person who did the score for that movie came out of retirement to do that score because they said no one else can do it but you. Um, they knew that they were doing a black and white film, and they knew the subject matter, and they're like, we have to get this guy. And it's none other than the guy who did the score for Beauty and the Beast from 1946, which
I just watched that movie again like a week ago. The music is enchanting in that. Just beautiful. I have to check that out so I can listen to it.
yeah, it's so good. And I used to know his name because I did all that research when we did that Criterion Corner on that movie. But of course, I'm not going to be able to pull it right here in this video. Let us know in the comments. But that composer is great, and I really like his score in this is really good too. It's Georges Auric. That's who it is. That's the composer. Came out of retirement for this movie, and this director is really cool. I was listening to just him talk about this movie on the Criterion channel. They had the bonus features. Now I have the bonus features on the disc, so I can check him out there. But there's a long interview with him. I think it might be like an hour, where he's just talking about stuff like that, like all of the stuff that he was thinking while he was making it, and it's fascinating. I want to live with that movie a little bit more. And then my last one, and the last pick from the fairy tale section on Criterion Corner is Ujetsu, which is a fantastic movie, and my first real foray into Japanese cinema. Well, no, I did watch that one at Christmas time, but this is my first. That was kind of just like a small family story. This is my first foray into like Japanese samurai and culture and like more fantasy stuff. This is a through and through a fairy tale. This is about two men who live in a small village during a war, and they are both obsessed with. One of them is more obsessed with wealth and getting his business off the ground, and the other man is more obsessed with fame and notoriety, and he wants to be a soldier. He wants to be a samurai, and so they both in their like quest for power and wealth just like ruin their families, and it's so sad what happens because they both have wives and one of them has a kid, and this movie broke my heart and it's super sad. But this is I didn't even say this is the one that came with the digipack. I didn't know it had a digipack, and I was pleasantly surprised when it came in the mail and it wasn't just a jewel case. It's a beautiful digipack. It's kind of got a matte finish, kind of like Ichimama Tambien, except I think it goes even better with the black and white of this movie. This is a black and white film. I didn't mention this is from 1953 by Kenji Mizoguchi, and it is just lovely. It's very tragic, but it definitely hits all those like fairy tale bones that I eat it up, man. So there it is. Look at that. I love that it's a different cover. I love that even on the back they have a little image up here at the top. It's not just the standard back. And I love that, like Ichimama Tambien, this one comes with a bound book, a thick book, and I'll tell you why in a second. But there's kind of the evil, like, not evil, sorry, the kind of like mystical witch character. It's really interesting. There's like a behind the scenes shot of them filming it, which is always interesting. And then there's Ujetsu, the disc. Now the book not only comes with the usual essays and stuff, I'm sure that's beautiful. I love how you can like, you can't really see it on camera, but you can like barely see Ujetsu right there. It's like into the artwork. Here is, oh gosh, this is beautiful. This is a must own, I gotta say, especially if you're interested in Japanese cinema at all. If you are, you've probably already seen this because I'm late to the party on this. But what this includes is 3 short stories that the film is based on, which is great because I apparently don't read books unless you put them in my movies. So I'm so happy to have this. And these would be perfect because they're all 3 short stories. It'd be perfect to like read one before bed. And I might actually do this because I'm interested to see how he wove these 3 stories into one story in this beautiful film. This is actually very like highly regarded film. As I was looking into it, it's like considered, it's on a lot of top movie lists. I'll just say that. I was very surprised because I hadn't heard of it until I popped it in. But like I said, I'm very late to the party in world cinema in general, but especially Japanese cinema. So if you got any recommendations to go, where to go after Ujetsu, put them down in the comments, because I'm definitely, my palate is wet after watching this beautiful movie. Oh, it's so weighty. It's such a nice digipack. This has the same kind of effect as the Vampire digipack. It's got that black and white with the kind of matte finish, and not even matte, like textured finish, and it's beautiful. I'm so happy when that came in the mail. I know some Criterion people don't like digipacks. They like them to all look uniform, but I am a sucker. I wish they'd make all of them like this, because they look so cool. But that's my last 4. Those 4 are in the fantasy collection. So if you have the channel, check all those out, but you don't need to. You can just buy them. They're perfect blind buys, especially those 3. I mean, I don't think this will be everybody's bag, but these 3, I don't know how you could not get something out of these 3, because these are crazy, beautiful movies. So I'm very happy to have those. And sorry I blabbered on forever, but like I said, I picked up too much, but I'm perfectly happy with everything I picked up. I don't have any buyer's remorse on any of those.
Hey, it's your channel. You can talk however long. You can ramble as much as you want.
Sorry, hopefully I was somewhat coherent, and
No, I loved listening.
and hopefully I talked you into checking out some of those movies, because I think they're all great. And thank you so much, Connor, for bringing even more insight into the flash sale that I didn't pick up and stuff that I need. And let us know in the comments what you guys picked up, and or I mean, just movies that we should pick up in the July sale. Look at that. He's got a beautiful side-by-side. Very diverse.
Yeah. My buddy...
Very diverse covers. I like that.
Yeah, I didn't go into it, but the colors on Lady Vanishes are great. I love that blue at the sea and the kind of... what are they?
The info boxes. There's probably some name for those that we don't. But yeah, that's a nice little like cyan blue. I like that.
My buddy who showed me Mishima, I watched that, which is great, and I was planning on buying it, but I'll have to wait for July.
Yeah, so we'll be back in July. Probably not buying as many things, because I just knocked 9 off my list. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, so that I got 9. But I mean, you're supporting Criterion, and 50% off. It's crazy. That's like, I mean, I know Amazon's trying to undercut them right now, but I'd much rather support Criterion itself. And some of these are even cheaper than Amazon, so even that way, it evens out. So let us know what you guys got in the flash sale, and let us know what other stuff that we should check out based on these picks. I only bought things that I've seen, so you guys kind of got a taste for my taste in film. So if you can think of anything else that kind of fits in these genres, let me know, please, because I'm always looking to watch more stuff. And you guys have been great talking to me in the comments in the past. So thank you so much for joining me, Connor. Always a pleasure to have. I hope we could do more stuff in the future. I really, really enjoyed talking to you and doing these videos.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm a little out of practice, a little rusty, but time to sharpen back up, right?
Yeah, of course. No, you were great, man. Yeah, you were wonderful, and we will see you guys, or I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks so much. Bye bye.